It's movie night and Sam. Stranded on Honeymoon Island, UK, episode 6, and Maury is updating me on what was said on the boys' day out, and he said that Oliver told the boys that Tanya speaks to trees in the water, and she was like, oh, and were they laughing at that? And she's understandably pissed off, because if you were religious and you believed in a certain God, and you were speaking to somebody else, and he says, oh, my Bible's different, and I pray to this God, you're not going to sit and laugh at them. Do you know what I mean? Even if in your head you're thinking, oh, that's unusual, I've never heard of that before, or whatever, you're not going to blatantly laugh at people. Well, you shouldn't. Maury was also saying to me that Oliver and Tanya have been intimate, but I feel as if us two are closer, like, more like friends, right? Now, I must admit, at the start, I did say he's an avoidant, blah, 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 but I really do think that he's really tried his best. I've got to give him that. He didn't flare out, and he's saying that he doesn't fancy her, but he's still giving it his all. And he told David what Tanya said about Oliver's opinion when he says that David doesn't fancy Annie. And I'm still confused by this, right? Because you can 100% be a girl's girl, and that is fine. But I still don't understand why Tanya decided to share that information with Annie. It would have been different if Oliver said, oh, by the way, David says that he fancies somebody else, or David said, right? But it was literally just his opinion. And when I was watching this episode, I thought to myself, in a way, Tanya is also went against the trust and the relationship between her and Oliver. He should be able to confide in her with his opinions. It's not as if he turned around and says, oh, by the way, David went with somebody on a boys' night out. Do you know what I mean? And she has to tell her this crucial information. So I'm still on the fence about this. So David was like, no, I find you attractive, I've been honest with you, blah, blah, blah. He's so open about his emotions. He's such a good listener. She's telling him about her insecurities. Obviously he came on and says he was 50-50 between Annie and Tanya, and she's insecure about that, but also she was talking about her dad leaving her when she was young and having abandonment issues and stuff like that. Am I the only person whose dad ditched them when they were young and they kind of thought, thank God, see you later? So Annie's explaining that she finds it difficult to open up to men because of the whole dad situation, and David's just listening, communicating like an adult, calm as fuck, right? He's not even like, why the fuck's Oliver saying that? Why the fuck's Tanya trying to start shit? Right? He's just so level-headed. Not one speck of toxic masculinity can be seen. Hannah and Sam are chilling on the beach, and all of a sudden Hannah's like, oh, there's a crate. And this drives me insane, because obviously this is reality TV, right? But it's not all real. So surely to God, that crate doesn't just bob along exactly where they need it to be. Surely they've seen a boat. Surely they've seen somebody dragging it out onto the beach where the cameramen go and sleep or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if the cameramen are sleeping on the beach in their own wee hut, or if they get a boat away at the end of the night or whatever. But they're not filming this the way they do on Alone, so there's going to be cameramen, producers and all that there asking them questions. So surely they're saying, oh guys, go over there under that tree, there's a message in a bottle, or go over there and see what you can see out in the ocean. Do you know what I mean? They're not all just randomly going, oh wow, that crate has ended up exactly where it has to be, exactly when it has to be there. And as you know, I'm obsessed with reality TV, so I like to know the ins and outs. I know some people would just let this go. But anyway, the important thing is what was in the crate. It was their mobile phones, and they were told that they could go through each other's social media, dating profiles, DMs and stuff like that. Now, I personally would go on somebody's social media and dating profile, because that's the sort of thing that you would see outside anyway. I wouldn't read their DMs, because I feel as if that's just too much, and what somebody said to a person before they were on the island should be irrelevant. And let's just say, as an example, Hannah went into Sam's DMs and his ex was messaging him just before he went on the island, and they two got on really well. They end up like exclusively going out, and then she's coming off the island remembering the DMs that she's read. It's fucking with your head, and it's causing too much pain, too many questions. So Sam and Hannah were just like, do you know what? I'm not interested. Oliver wasn't too keen on it, and Tanya was like, give me your phone. And he was saying, oh, I think it's really weird. Now, I do think it's weird to read somebody's DMs and go into their actual messages, but I don't think it's weird whatsoever to just look through their profile, check out their pictures, see what they say about themselves. Maury goes through May's phone and there's no problems, but then when she tries to go through his, there's no signal. And she gets a wee bit ratty about it, and I don't know if it's an insecurity or what, but she was going, oh, Grindr, it's all making sense now, and oh, Snapchat. Now, I think that it's a bit strange for people to use Snapchat when they're older. A lot of my friends in work use Snapchat, but they're in their 20s. I don't know what age Maury is actually, but I kind of I've never really seen the point in Snapchat. Maybe that's just because I'm old, but when I was younger, Snapchat was only used for one thing, so when I see that in somebody's phone, I just think, alright, I see what's happening here. Even though that's not what my friends in work are using it for, or so they say. Helen and Abby are looking through their profiles and stuff, and I'm very confused because in the last video I says that Helen had been wearing a really lovely beaded corset, but in this episode she was wearing this dress again, so where the fuck did the corset come from? I need to know. When Abby was looking through Helen's profile, she says, oh, I see that it says you don't want any kids. Like, I would skip you because that's an issue for me. Now, this is 100% the producer's fault. Personally, I think it's a bit strange that they've not already had this conversation, because when I was younger and I went on dates with people, one of the first things I would say is, do you have kids, do you want kids? Because I wanted to make it very clear, like, let's not take this any further if you're looking for kids, because it's not ever going to happen with me. The first things that the producers should look at is if they want kids and if they want to be with somebody who is the same religion as them or not, because those are things that are just non-negotiables. David and Annie are looking through each other's phones, and Annie went into his DMs and she was reading messages for a girl and she was just laughing them off. And to be honest, the way he was acting was as if, well, who cares, it's not even a big deal. They then receive a bag of goodies and they're told that it's the second couple's cove. Is it just me, or does this feel like the fourth couple's cove? I don't know if it's because they had the boys and girls day out and then they had like the couple swap thing, but I don't know, it just feels like there's been more. They all get dressed up, they're all looking amazing, and they go to Couple's Cove. When they're sitting at the table, Oliver's talking about something, and Hannah says, oh, can I just jump in? And then she brings up the situation about they two having sex for the first time, and him saying, don't go falling in love with me. Now, she's really going at him, right? And I kind of feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I am that person. I am Hannah. I am just fucking going for the jugular. And she hasn't seen the other conversations and other things that he said, so I was totally batting her. But at the same time, I thought maybe he does just say stupid shit. I don't think that Oliver's a bad guy, and I don't think that Hannah was wrong for speaking up about it. I mean, there's a reason why many of my friends' husbands don't like me, and I'm okay with that. Then May jumps in as well, and she's talking about Oliver saying, oh, you were telling the boys that Tanya speaks to the water and the trees and stuff, and you were laughing. And at least Sam says, oh, I was laughing because, I'm not familiar, it sounded strange to me. But he didn't mean it in a nasty way. I think that some people maybe just aren't used to that sort of thing. It was time for movie night and they got to see clips of them at the speed dating, and oh my god. Sam says to his ex something like, oh, I'll not be happy if I'm not paired up with you. Oh. Hannah must have been fucking raging. She'd have been sitting there as well, trying to play it cool, but in her head she'd have been like that. Are you fucking kidding me? So in the clip for next time, they're going to have visitors, and one of them is his ex. If what he said is true, and he went with his ex for less than 6 months, and he told her that he was going on this show to meet somebody, and then she also applied for the show, which is stalker behaviour. Then the show's contacted her to say, oh, by the way, your ex is now on an island coupled up with somebody else. Do you want to go over and visit him? And she said aye. That's strange behaviour. And this is coming from somebody who has literally been obsessed with the same person for decades. Stalking somebody so openly like that on national TV that you went with for less than 6 months seems worrying to me. But let me know what you thought of that episode. Would you go through your partner's phone? And what would you have thought about Sam saying that to his ex? And I'll see you again next time. Bye!